In 2018, a journalist was gearing up to break a story that would promise to vigorously rock boats worldwide, in particular the super yachts of Manhattan's elite. Jessica Pressler was working for New York Magazine at the time, and had caught wind of a well-known socialite who was now facing jail time. Pressler's article featured testimonies from individuals closely linked to this fraudster, and her story soon skyrocketed onto front pages and television screens worldwide. How on earth had this woman in her early 20s single-handedly convinced New York's elite that she was a German heiress set to inherit millions?
Now to fake heiress. She went by the name Anna Delvey.
The former Vanity Fair editor who helped bring down the Soho scammer is now breaking her silence.
Anna Delvey's best friend, former best friend, Rachel Williams, is here. Thought it was maybe $30,000, turned out to be $62,000 on your credit card, which is more than your annual salary.
A stylist for the trial?
Amazing.
Anna was racking up thousands of dollars in unpaid hotel bills, private jet flights, also taking out loans to cover these lavish expenses.
How did you even wrap your mind around that?
If she did this to me and I was her friend, she would do it to anybody.
Whether you want to count it stealing or whatever, she took money that wasn't hers. That's really disgusting, and I don't know how you could not feel guilty about that to at least the point to pay them back. It makes me think that she needs some kind of therapy, because I can't imagine that this is just about money.
This is New York, a miracle city, a city of tall buildings, heart of a great nation, the United States of America.
Anna Delvey flew onto Manhattan's social scene in 2013, aged 22. She had been previously working in Paris on a coveted internship for the fashion magazine Purple. At Purple, Delvey glued herself to editor-in-chief Olivier's arm, and was quickly placed on all the popular trips, including one to New York, where she was sent to cover Fashion Week. As a result of these placements and Olivier's established connections, Anna soon became a regular guest at high-end parties and networking events across both cities. One contact which would prove incredibly lucrative was Olivier's close friend, Andre Sareva, a graffiti artist and restaurateur known as Mr. A. In 2012, Sareva had opened Le Baron in Chinatown, the next link in his notorious chain of Le Baron clubs. Anna soon relocated her internship to Purple's New York office, and by 2013, almost every promotional night at Le Baron had Purple magazine involved, with Anna in tow. At the time, Sareva was dating Annabelle Dexter-Jones, half-sister of DJ Mark Ronson, and overnight, his brainchild became a major hotspot frequented by the likes of Lindsay Lohan, Tom Cruise, and Prince Harry. With Le Baron's European clientele and midnight in Paris atmosphere, Anna quickly felt at home, though was simultaneously being introduced to this completely foreign group of people, the stonking rich. During these introductory years, friends and acquaintances described meeting this new arrival with her pouty lips, manic hair and trademark Celine glasses. They also noted her European links, as she was a cultured individual and made her beginnings in Cologne obvious. She also had a surprisingly large following for 2013, with 40,000 Instagram followers, which, as many people unabashedly admitted afterwards, was what caught their attention first, including Vanity Fair photo editor Rachel Williams, who wrote in her 2018 article that she was certainly taken aback by Anna's social media presence after meeting her through mutual friends. New York's rumour mill was constantly in motion when it came to Anna Delvey's wealth. It was common knowledge within these circles that Anna was a German heiress whose father was some billionaire hotshot in Europe. And although the origins of his capital differed slightly in opinion, Anna's peers were certain she was on track to come into a large amount of money when she turned 25. £45 million to be exact.
Moving. Rusty is moving. This beautiful doll is moving to a great, big, 4-room apartment.
With a terrace.
From 2015 onwards, Delvey had left her internship at Purple to work full-time on her passion project. She had the idea of setting up an exclusive arts club in Manhattan, similar to the Soho House in London, with floors of contemporary art, restaurants and bars. She also planned to modestly christen it the ADF, or Anna Delvey Foundation. With the clock still ticking on the release of her trust fund, Anna didn't yet have the money to realise her project, though it became clear that when she did own enough capital, these plans would become a reality. By this time, she had also begun to formally establish herself as quite the baller in Manhattan, living in hotels full-time, eating at Michelin star restaurants by night, and received a flood of designer packages by day. Friends told Jessica Pressler that Anna would seemingly flit from hotel to hotel, then fly to Europe when her visa was up, and quickly return a few days later. Her principal roost was 11 Howard, a hotel in New York's Soho district, where rooms on average go for $400 a night. It was there she first met 25-year-old Nefertari Davis, a bubbly film fanatic stroke concierge known as Neff, who was working at 11 Howard and similar in age to Anna. Neff told Pressler that employees would find Delvey rather irritating. She had a haughty air, which was awkwardly out of touch and would rarely say please or thank you. She was classist, in Neff's words, once barking, "Are you bitches broke?" at her and another employee. However, Neff didn't find her particularly aggressive, likening Anna to a medieval princess plucked from a European castle and struggling to acclimatise in modern-day Manhattan. Regardless of their dislike, the employees would still physically fight over taking Delvey's parcels upstairs. Without fail, there would always be a $100 tip waiting. Neff and Anna became well acquainted during her stay at 11 Howard. Anna appointed her new friend as unofficial secretary to the Anna Delvey Foundation, and Neff became privy to the work dinners Anna hosted at Le Coucou, once even finding herself sat next to childhood idol Macaulay Culkin.
Oh, look, Lamb Chop, there's the new Tiny Tears. And she's sitting in her very own car seat.
Yeah, and she's waving bye-bye.
Uh-huh.
Or hello.
Uh-huh.
What, uh-huh? Is she coming or going?
In Pressler's article, she included a photograph of Anna at a party. Alongside her was DJ LD, who, after receiving a flood of questions on her relationship with Delvey, slightly reluctantly wrote a column for the BBC. Elle recalls meeting Anna on the party circuit in 2014 while DJing at a hotel in the Hamptons. It was promoter Tony Salla who introduced her to Elle's entourage when he asked them one evening if Anna could stay in their room as she had nowhere else to sleep. Elle thought it strange and declined, but later felt sorry for the girl sat on her own and attempted to speak to her at the party, though she had disappeared. The next morning, Elle walked out to the car park and saw Anna asleep in a car, a scene which, in her words, looked a little creepy and almost straight out of a horror movie. Anna was lying there like a doll, and Elle was slightly scared to approach her, anxious she wasn't breathing. Elle recalls finding it strange at the time and had questions, particularly why this multi-million heiress had decided to sleep in the middle of a car park, and if she was so wealthy, why did she not just check into a nearby hotel or at least get a taxi back to the city? Despite their uncomfortable introduction, Elle and Anna would often catch up at high-profile events back in New York. Whenever Elle was booked to DJ, she noticed Anna would often hang around the booth for quite some time, waiting awkwardly for a photographer, then grab her for a photo. In 2014, Paris Fashion Week, Elle received a message from Anna, who had noticed she was also in town and invited her to join a drinks party at the Hotel du Louvre. Elle arrived with her then-boyfriend and described the painfully awkward atmosphere. walking into a near-silent room with no music and just an odd bunch sipping champagne. After a while, it was only the new arrivals talking to each other, so they left. The next day, Anna called her up crying. The hotel were refusing to let her leave after her credit card had been declined and she couldn't call her parents because of the time difference. She asked Elle if she would lend her the money for her stay, which was $35,000. When Elle declined, Delvey asked, "What about your boyfriend?" At the time, Elle's boyfriend had been recently featured in Forbes 30 Under 30. When Elle turned her down again, she noticed the sound of sniffing and blubbing was immediately switched off. In January 2016, Elle was invited to a birthday dinner Anna planned at Sadelle's restaurant. She recalls the odd nature of the evening, noting Anna was alone at the bar when she arrived, and it seemed as though the people who did turn up had only met her once or twice before. The entire party, including Anna, were glued to their phones for most of the evening, but when she did speak to the hostess, Anna blankly asked if Elle could buy her a drink as she'd left her wallet upstairs, and later scoffed at her guest's Instagram following during the meal. After dinner, Elle made an excuse to leave early, smiling to herself as she left, filing the evening under another weird night with a trust fund baby. The photo featured in Pressler's article was taken a while after they had spoken, at an award show where the pair were wearing similar outfits with cropped leather jackets. The photographer thought it was funny and asked to take a picture. Elle admitted she wasn't particularly keen on the idea.
Be a fashion expert. Create a special hairdo for each of Tressy's American character outfits.
Anna met Rachel Williams through mutual friends at the restaurant lounge Happy Ending in early 2016. Rachel recalls Delvey arriving with bottle service and a high-pitched, ambiguously European accent. But they quickly became good friends, often going out for drinks or dinner. Rachel admitted Anna had a directness that many found off-putting and a lack of tact that led to a rift between Anna and their mutual friends. But Rachel was glad to be accepted, as she knew she was one of the few. By February 2017, Anna had invited Rachel to join her workout sessions with celebrity personal trainer Casey Duke, known for training stars such as Dakota Johnson. By now, Anna was also charging full steam ahead with her arts foundation plans, eyeing up a potential lease on Park Avenue, the historic Church Missions house. She was put in touch with several high-profile businessmen, including skyscraper mogul Abby Rosen and former hedge fund manager Martin Shkreli. However, at this point, Anna's capital was still next to nothing, so her venture relied on securing mega loans from banks across the city. After approaching these banks for eye-watering amounts of money, the bank's financial analysts would ask for proof of funds, and Anna directed them to the Delvey family accountant, a Mr. Peter W. Henneke, who would promptly return an email affirming her future assets. By this time, people were beginning to raise suspicions over Anna's lifestyle. Both Anna's cash and storyline had begun to run dry. She had told people she was from Cologne, though a couple of natives living in New York had noted that her German wasn't actually that good. And there were conflicting stories over where her wealth had come from. Rachel Williams recalls talking to a contact that knew Anna from her time in Paris, who told her that Anna's dad had made his fortune ferrying oil from Russia to Germany. But Anna had revealed once to Rachel that her parents worked in solar energy. Most of New York had also heard about her notorious 25th birthday present. But by 2017, she was 26 and still whining that her father had delayed the inheritance due to her careless expenditure. Neff Davis recounts how she had to pay $286 for a dinner at the Soho restaurant San Ambroius after all 12 of Delvey's credit cards were declined. The hotels also started to kick up a fuss. 11 Howard was still a relatively new establishment in and around 2015, and so Anna had never actually put a credit card behind her booking. She would either pay in cash or bill meals and services back to her room. Soon her room charges had racked up to a staggering $30,000, and the hotel had begun to probe for payment. After a back and forth, Anna eventually wired the funds. She still, however, didn't put a working credit card on file. Prestigious arts collector Michael Zufu Huang was also a guest in attendance at the Sidell birthday dinner in 2016, which LD described in her BBC article. Anna had met Huang at a gallery a few years before, and they had previously been on a trip to Venice, which incidentally she had never paid him back for. A few days after the dinner, the restaurant messaged Huang on Instagram after seeing Polaroids from the party and noticed he was in one with Anna. It transpired that the restaurant were calling up anyone connected to the dinner. Anna had left that evening without paying the bill or contacting them since. By 2017, Anna's network had reduced down rapidly, and her only real group of friends consisted of Rachel Williams, Neff Davis, and her trainer Casey Duke. Although notably older, Casey had become rather like a mother figure to Anna. She revealed that one night she asked Anna where all her friends had gone off to. Anna simply replied, "Oh, they're all mad I left Purple." 11 Howard soon became tired of Anna's inability to put a working credit card behind her room, and whilst she was away doing supposed research for her foundation in Omaha, the weary hotel management changed the lock on her room and put all her belongings in storage. Anna was furious when she returned. She told Neff she planned to take a leaf out of Martin Shkreli's book, who had in the past bought up web domains of the names of journalists who criticised him. She then purchased the web domains for most of 11 Howard's employees. During this time, Delvey was planning a trip to Morocco with close friend Rachel Williams. Inspired by Khloe Kardashian's stay at the same resort, she presented it as rest and relaxation work trip, since she planned to take time out there to research her art foundation. Plus, her visa was coming up for renewal. Anna invited Casey Duke to join and lead workouts whilst they were out there. She also called on a videographer to travel with them and make a behind-the-scenes documentary on the experience. Delvey promised to cover all the costs, though didn't actually set up payment for anything in advance. The flights were booked on Rachel's credit card with the promise that she would be reimbursed. Williams revealed she had done this before for work, so wasn't too concerned. The foursome stayed at the palatial La Mamounia resort in a private riad. Delvey's card was rejected on the first day while shopping in the Medina, though Rachel assumed it was simply issues with Anna's bank since they were travelling, and offered to add it to an informal tab. For Williams, the beginning of the trip was complete luxury. However, it became clear tensions were beginning to rise between La Mamounia employees and Anna. Again, they were increasingly concerned there wasn't a working credit card on file. After suffering a bad bout of food poisoning, Casey Duke had to return to New York early. The remaining three stayed, but following days of empty promises, the employees cornered Rachel and Anna on the last afternoon and demanded a working credit card. After exhausting every one of Anna's means of payment, Rachel ended up having to foot the entire $62,000 bill on her credit card. Delvey hastily promised to wire Rachel $70,000 to cover the cost of everything when she got back to New York. Rachel, having just paid more than she earned in a year and stressed beyond belief, flew on to Paris for business. Anna's paper-thin world had been thoroughly rained on, and was becoming soggier by the second. She owed money to 3 different hotels, was neckline deep in loans, and had just forced one of her only friends to pay for a millionaire's holiday.
Can we get a helicopter from the Marrakesh airport to go to Casablanca airport?